Morning, everybody, and my fellow travelers on Spaceship Earth. It is I, Guy. I am here to talk about imposter syndrome this morning, I guess. I belong to quite a few Facebook groups where we talk about a number of things. Excuse me. And on this one Facebook group, I can actually open my window. It's really nice outside, so I'm going to. On this one Facebook group, this wonderful young lady posted this exquisitely beautiful piece of work and her commission prices, and she's charging $10 for a line art, $13 for basic flats, and $16 for full color. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't do that. It's way too low. And, she's doing a whole thing of, I'm just a beginner and nobody knows me and da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, but still, no. So, we're all trying to talk to her and she's doing a whole bunch of, imposter syndrome statements. I feel bad for her. I really do. I feel bad for her. She's like, that's really kind of a sad place. Don't be like that. If you're a fellow artist and you're fellow artisting and you're listening to this right now and you think, but my artwork is, kind of second rate, or I don't like my artwork, as you know what I mean? Whatever's the story. What I'm discovering is cheaper will sell you more, but people will throw them away. They won't keep them. Move this a little bit. There we go. Hey, Ray. Good to see you. So, we're doing the boring stuff today. We're still doing the boring stuff. What I'm having a problem with is, why are these numbers not matching? Oh, why did I do that? Well, we get to do this again. Oh, man. All right. How you doing this morning, Ray? No, it needs to be below the paper here, because what you're doing is hard, or you're just feeling like you're having a hard day. Because, I kind of feel like both of those things are true. Or life is just hard. That's also true. All of your outlets broke. Oh, no. I'm guessing that you have more than one outlet. Does that mean that maybe you have a problem with your fuse box? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Wiring. I know you're on the east side somewhere. As with my name remembering things, my location remembering things are also kind of jumbled. I seem to remember you were in the Russian area, and depending on how old your house is, Soviet era stuff sometimes is shaky, depending. It's kind of like we went through a similar era here, which wasn't Soviet. We went through the similar area in the boom right after the war. So post 1940. You're waiting on a jackhammer. Oh no. Just sounds horrible. Not only that, make sure you wear earplugs. Save your ears. Jackhammers are so loud. Oh God. Brutalism at its best. I have a sort of a secret love for brutalism as far as construction goes. However, as far as a building goes, sometimes it can just be so rough. Yep. Construction on brutalism is rough, but brutalism itself is kind of pretty. As an artist, I appreciate that. I'm not a construction guy, I'm an artist, so it's kind of like I totally can appreciate the art, and then all my engineering friends can say, it's horrible. That's fine, man. You can hate it, but I like it. Good morning, Donald. Yeah. Like I said, there's something to be said for the art of the old Soviet regime. It's got some good stuff. I was going to do something. Oh, I was going to use shift. Especially places in, yeah, former Yugoslavia, some areas in Czechoslovakia. There's some good stuff. Yeah, Donald, we weren't streaming all week last week. I had a pretty bad week last week, and so um, it's all right. We're back online and everything like that, and also Can got a job, but his job is like 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. So he has to be in bed by like 9 or 10 or something like that. Brutalism? I don't know. Maybe it's like Art Deco. Art Deco seems like it's so. One of the things that one of the things I think about brutalism that I like is that it's not it because I'll agree it's like Art Deco, but without the flash. So Art Deco has a lot of extra pieces to it. It seems like it feels like that to me. And brutalism is very efficient. And so, I mean, if I were to make, and now I sound like one of my art teachers, I swear. Um, but if I were to kind of make an analysis between the two, here, that'd be where I'd go. I think one of the reasons why people don't like brutalism is because it's stark. Like it's sometimes it can be so um, um, imposing. Like it's intimidating. I think that's the word I'm looking at. Intimidating. The buildings can be intimidating. They can be. um, yeah, Art Deco's got a lot more colors, shapes, general weirdness. General weirdness. Yeah, probably. I mean, it might even be. You may be right. It might even be because brutalism is associated with the Soviet regime, and a lot of people have a problem with the Soviet regime, and so that could be it. You could be right. I know that usually artwork gets itself tied to the era that it's in. Like Art Deco will really sort of scream 1920s US because that's sort of the era where it started showing up. Good morning, Brent. Well, that's great because Ray and I are having an awesome discussion about brutalism versus Art Deco. So you're in a great place for us. We're having a great time here. It's an art lesson today. Well, I build my pages for issue 2. Also, Brent, I just signed up for a table at Galacticon over Thanksgiving weekend. So I'll be tabling at Galacticon, which I think is probably one of the wiser moves I make because Galacticon is my style of thing. It is definitely, it's going to be a space convention, a sci-fi convention. taking over the space that was left behind by Starfest. Oh, don't do that. Oh, Long Johnson. Even non-communist, yeah. Well, I feel like brutalism was born in the heyday of the Soviet era. So, like 1950s, 1940s, 1950s, post World War II. Um, and yeah, I mean, that's the thing is it's associated with wherever it was prominent. Because like Art Deco specifically, Art Deco has reappeared many times in different cultures and different places all over the world. But most people associate it with US 1920s, even though that's not necessarily where it was born and not necessarily where it flourished. But people just associate stuff with what the media sort of pumped it around in. Um, so, Soviet brutalism was just the thing. It was the 1950s Soviet brutalism was just a hit point. If you were to ask me to go find examples of brutalism, I would look for 1950s Soviet Union. Looks like I've gone bonkers some over here. It's my PC is saying specifically nothing's working. So I'm gonna. There we go. Make a comic for you. Not That's a big call there. Um, okay, let's try this again. I'm trying to fix the problem that just happened. For some reason, I'm completely crashed out over here on the main PC. So I'm going to reload that page and see if I rejoin. All right. Oh, all right. Better. I don't know why it crashed out like that, but it crashed out. Now it's just me. Now it's just me. All right. Now we're back. So during that time, Elijah said, "Make a comic for me." Elijah, part of the thing that you'll probably see here is how hard it is to make a comic. It is not a thing I do really quickly. In fact, that's what we're working on right now. This is my second comic right here. And we're already rolling it out. It was just weird. It should be repeating because I logged in on my phone and I logged in on my phone to just so I could get control of the show, because the show is on my main computer and my main computer just, I don't know what it did. It just had a complete meltdown for a minute there and I needed to reload the page, but I wasn't sure if I reloaded the page, if it would cut the stream. So I logged in on my phone and then I was on my phone, and then that way, if it decided to reload if the reload happened. Yeah, almost a year. But in that time, we've done other things, so definitely a plus. And though this step is taking a long time, it's the first time I've done it, so I'm being extra careful and taking extra time. Yeah, and it's a conservation of power here. It's kind of like I was just talking to somebody. That's what started this whole thing. I was on a Facebook page, and this young lady was posting commission prices for her work, and she was like, it was $10 for line work, and then $13 for flats, so flat colored, and $16 for a full shaded, everything clean, all beautifully done piece. And we were all like, you draw way too good to be charging that little of money. I mean, your work is really good. And her response was, maybe, but I'm a newbie. I'm new at this. And so I don't feel like I should be charging that much. And I told her that my friends on my stream spent some quality time trying to make sure that I stopped doing that. And so it was particularly funny that I brought you guys up in that thread. I was like, you guys spent some quality time yelling at me to keep me from keeping my prices too low. also feel like there's a certain amount of respect. Like, people don't respect you if you keep your prices too low. This is totally a I'm not listening thing, isn't it? That's all right. I've got a great idea, Elijah. Why don't you try? Give it the old college try yourself. I didn't get here where I am because of magic. This is a skill I've been working on for 25 or 30 years now. Oh yeah, it's a good job, man. Good job. Oh, Long Johnson. There it is. All right. Alrighty. So we fussed over what would have been the script for a long time. And now we're kind of here. I'm kind of doing the, what do I want to do with this? Because this is a little panel, right? No, I'm not going to, Elijah. I mean, I liked what you came up with last night. That was a lot of fun and very cool, and I enjoyed drawing it. But that was a 5-minute thing. Drawing a comic is months of work. Like I said, why don't you do it? If you already have a concept in your mind, then that's one of the hardest things about a comic is coming up with an idea or a concept. It looks like the bot's not going to let you post that. Oh, right. Okay. So this middle panel right here is simply a reaction panel or an operation panel because Bennett is stealing food off of Chang's plate. So I've got to make sure I do that kind of. I'm dropping it and then putting it between the two frames. So it's kind of like it happened while these two frames are going on. Not there. There. Where'd go? Where'd who go? This bit of advice for this page came to me from Wendy, can't remember her last name, who draws ElfQuest. Because I was hanging out with her at Iacon. It's funny, I was making fun of, to some degree, not making fun of literally, but being humored by the fact that Macross, when put together, the Macross manga is notoriously, he does panels. None of his pages have 4 panels that align properly. Finding a panel or finding a page anywhere in his comic whereby 4 panels are where I can get all 4 corners of the inner box here is virtually impossible. And it cracks me up because now here I am doing exactly what I was griping about with him. I am bringing out panels and making them stick out a little further and a little, you know. There, because she's munching on an apple here, and there's actually and because I don't want the converging tangent problem, I'm going to drop this panel just a little bit. And this is a hikimori, a hikigoma. That's a hikigoma, right? So it's a pulled panel because I want people to take that panel and go, oh, right? Even if you don't understand the technobabble that they're saying here, complete with Chang's wiggling of arms and whatever she's going to do there to illustrate the point. I didn't need to close it. I still have to do 17 on this one. Dang it, I did it again. I'm like, why isn't this working? Why? Oh. I'm noticing though that the page numbers are at the center of the spine too. So we're gonna have to go fix. I don't want to fix that. Although I think I can do that in page settings, project settings. Let's see if we can go change that in project settings. I have to close this in order to put project settings in. Why didn't I finish the page first? Dang it. Finish the page, guy. Stop being spacey. So someday you'll out there, Brent, and you probably are, but you're listening, so you're not actually able to respond, which is fine. Don't have to respond. I know you're receiving the data at some point in time, but someday we're gonna have to figure out what it is that's bringing everybody in to Kayan's stream, but not my stream. Matched all of his keywords, but it seems like all the random people come in through his stream, and I don't get a lot coming in on mine. So that's something I kind of want to ponder at some point. There we go. Now we finished that. The reason I don't do this usually is because we have to close all of this up to do the project settings over here. So I'm going to go over here and check the project settings. Change the project settings. And the problem is because it says bottom inside, and I want it on bottom. I want it on bottom. I want that. I wanted that forever. Why are we still having this problem? It should be directly at the bottom in the middle of the page. Looks a whole lot better when it's in the middle of the page. That took so much effort, guys. I am appalled with how fat or how much time that took us to fix the fact that those were on the inside and now they're in the middle. They actually should be a little higher though, because I would rather they be in this box. That's what this box represents. Blue box right here. It represents the middle of the page. So. Which makes me think there's an offset I can go through here. And we didn't change anything yet. Change project settings. Because guess that it's 2 millimeters from the bottom border and see what happens. It didn't do anything. I'm going to change the brush settings. You know what? This isn't a big enough problem that I care. I really don't. Which kind of puts me at the why am I fighting so hard moment, right? Because this should be page 1. It should be page 2 and 3. Good. So the numbering sequence is correct. I don't need to worry about the numbering sequence. That's fine. All right. Out on page 60. And if you're wondering why the numbers don't line up, it's stupid. I don't know. I did that last time too. This one. I could probably automate this. It would have to be the entire critter being automated this way. I don't know. I don't know what my problem is, guys. Can't seem to predict where it showed up. It's underneath stuff. That's part of the problem. I'll do this the old-fashioned way. Okay, Elijah, you're not taking a hint here, brother. Not taking a hint, fam. I think I'm going to this all the way to the edge. And this guy is going to be a single. We're actually going to go on ahead and delete the frame out of it. This guy here, and we'll delete it, and we'll delete the onion skin out of it too. No, we don't want to delete the onion skin. Actually, we're going to delete this whole thing. So we're going to pull this up here, and pull this up here, and delete this piece. Because this is a splash. And because it's a splash, you're going to get yourself blocked, dude. You can't just order people around. I mean, I get it. Twitch is sort of a different world. But that's not the point of this show. That's not what we do here. This is what we call a body doubling session. And what happens is that I will body double with people, and we will get work done together as a team. I think maybe the next version of this, though, I might make these pages look like this. Because then I could do 2 at a time. I didn't think about that until now. You learn by doing, and so do we, and we just learn by doing. And so what we should do is do both of these pages like that. And I think that's probably a smarter move. Because then I could just take that one and this one. Oh no, why is it? It only takes 1 click. And I can undo the ruler, but it takes 2 clicks to get. That doesn't even make sense. Oh well. They look like they mirror each other, which actually probably is a good thing that I'm doing this way. It's not every time. Like, believe me whenever I say I really, really, really want to be doing something completely different. Hey, Red Alpha. How are you doing? Dang it. How are you doing today? In the grand tradition of my master, I will now, of course, completely make this a bonkers, ununderstandable scene. Oh, hey, good. I mean, bad, but good. You know what I mean? Like, I think you understand what I'm trying to say. As in, I'm glad you breathe. Not so glad that you were stuck in horror land. All right. Righty. One of the coolest tools all of Clip Studio is the frame cutter. That is one of my favorite tools ever. Just cut this page into something completely understandable in seconds, and I love that. I absolutely adore that. My favorite thing. Because you can see now how clean this page looks. It just looks cool, you know. Oh no, it sounds horrible. Not the turning turning someone in is a horrible experience, and I feel for you that you had to go through that. But that's a thing. Because no matter what, the way of the world, the way that we humans work, you're going to blame yourself for it, and don't. There's no reason to blame yourself. It's a silly affectation. We shouldn't be blaming ourselves. If someone else caused it. There we go. Kind of making them not so. I'm making all the frames here not perfectly aligned. Gives it a little bit of interest. But it also makes it difficult to read this panel set, so I might bring this up to show that that's what's going on. This way I can tell the readers, and actually what needs to happen is less this. Yeah, I get it. Some people blame themselves, some people don't. I don't know. It depends. What I'm doing here is trying to get these panels lined up so that we don't have converging tangents. You don't want converging tangents. I say that a lot in my show, how much I hate converging tangents, but when you're doing panel work like this, we want to be able to break up the panels so that they don't look like you're supposed to read downward. And so the fact that these two panels right here and these two panels were lined up perfectly meant that it felt like you were supposed to read here, 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 which is not the way you're supposed to read. um, okay, I was going to put this on top. Yes. It's not on top. It's not on top. Put it there. The reason I put these on top is that way I can get them stretched all the way out. One of the mistakes I am discovering is that these need to be fully extended. So before I was putting it inside this square, and that's not useful. It is front door open. There. All right, and then we go to this side, do the same thing. It takes a little time to do this, but it'll take the rest of the show and we'll be done because we're already on page 22 and 23. So then we go through and clean up things like sometimes you'll see we've got to fix the where the page number lies, but I'll pull the page number from some of the pages individually because either page number overlaps a panel, which I don't want, or the page number It's interesting because I'm putting a hikimori or a hikigoma here, and I really shouldn't be. I should be putting the hikigoma here, but I'm not, which is sort of an interesting choice on my part. I'm trying to wonder, am I slightly insane? Mostly insane? What am I doing? Or do I just not really understand hikigomas? Entirely plausible all of those things are true. Any one of these things are true. Potentially true. We're just saying. All right. Because this one doesn't need to be a hikigoma, but I'm going to make sure it. Right. I'm going to pull it down a little, but not a lot. Not as much as I've indicated in the actual drawing. So there's my hikigoma for this one. I'm also going to take this guy and move him over just a little bit so that he's kind of out of alignment, just a hair. And then this guy goes all the way to the top of the page. There we go. Out it goes. And looking at where the Mieru Goma is, the looking panel, I'm seeing that it doesn't have a lot of pull on this page. So I kind of want to see if I can't do something a little bit more controlling with this right through here. Right? Because if we take this and pull by object, it can stretch the panel and shrink the panels underneath it, right? Same thing here. If we take this guy, we can push him down along with everybody else so that these 4 panels take up less space, right? Thus giving our Mieru Goma more visibility. Right? That's the Mieru Goma. It's the panel you want to look at. You want to bring everybody's focus to this panel. So I'm pushing that panel and pushing all the other panels down for it, right? Which works, right? If you look, it's now very clean and you can very much see what's going on. I feel like this needs to go up. Not that way, because it's going to push all of this line out that way. I don't want the line out that way. It's the difference between the two tools. This tool brings out only one line and allows me to stack panels on top of other panels and everything like that. Oh, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Because now I have to bring it open again. Dang it. One thing that, boy, if you want to talk about something that makes me mad about ADD, it's that. I can't do more than one procedure on a thing. And this is one of those perfect examples of it. It drives me absolutely crazy. Right? Like, I can't copy the pages over properly. It's just like, it's extraordinarily frustrating. I can't do this without missing a step. It takes all of my concentration just to do 5 simple steps, you know. Nope. Now we can save this and dump it out. Because we're now down on page 23. We're on the last row, guys. Last row. I hope you're okay, Red. Okay, Elijah, I'm going to have to block you if you keep doing that. I had fun drawing your picture last night, but I am not drawing you a comic. That's days and months worth of work that I'm not going to do for free. I know that you are probably just trying to have fun and stuff like that, but it's not working, man. Nope. Now, this is one where I do a specific thing, a technique that I will do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix my operations here. Right? I'm going to actually pull this down, and I'm going to make these panels slightly crooked. Ever so slightly. Because this is an uncomfortable scene. As Alex walks through the remains of the cities. So I'm going to kind of jumble up the borders around here and make them just slightly off balance and slightly uncomfortable. All right. Everybody needs to take a mid-show break. Oh man. Whew. I'll need to take a mid-show break. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Everything's popping. It's already 24 degrees outside. Good heavens. It's already passing my threshold for heat. I don't do well in heat. I've never done well in heat. And now it's just hot. And I'm like, ugh, hot. All right. Mid-show break. So, we're actually like 3/4 show. Fine. Just have to find out, don't you? Just have to find out. All right. All of this panel has been done. All this work has been done. So I'll save and close. Shame because Elijah had pretty cool ideas that I actually kind of liked whenever it was just a sort of a little bit of a prompt thing. And I think Elijah's just young, and that's fine. And this is a little bit of a power play on their part, and that's okay as well. And it's a thing people do, and I just don't have time for it. I have a whole common for it. We can't get this done. But I am going to have to block them, which is a bummer. I don't block people that often. I don't like to block people, especially if they're legit people, you know. Never quite understood that. And maybe this is a neurodivergency thing. But I just never quite grasped the fun of getting on to, disrupting something. It seems like such a small amount of power that you'd have there. You know what I mean? Like being able to disrupt somebody's stream by being jerk or whatever. It's like, I can understand power plays and I understand things like that. I just have a hard time understanding why one would decide that was a viable option. Like where do they get the "oh good, I did the right thing" dopamine hit? A lot of it, of course, is because neurodivergency means I don't really have much to win of a dopamine hit, so don't quite grasp it all the time. And take the same thing. This is a one-page splash, so I'm going to pull the ink layer out and everything like that, and then just actually delete the frame layer because we're going to draw this as a one-page splash. So there's nothing in there but this ink layer on the right page. No need to confuse myself when we get to that page. I feel like I'm doing something weird. That's right. We're good. Nope, 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 nope. Also, if I do these as 2-page layouts, I will be encouraged to do more full-page spreads, which I'm currently not doing, only because I keep forgetting I can. So if I do these as 2-page layouts, then that'll be a lot better and easier. Also will help me with my hikigoma or hikigoma. One of the things I'm noticing is the pulled frames are odd. Like I don't follow the pulled frames very well. So like I'm not the pull frame shouldn't be on 30, it should be on 31, and I'm not doing that well. So I need to make sure that I do that better. Alrighty. We have a lot of, bikes and stuff. 3 more pages, guys, and we are out. Alrighty. Nope. This feels like a perfect place for a hikigoma, right? Because like what I'm looking for here is a pull. I'm on page 31. 32 is the last page, right? So we know we have only one page remaining out to the end at that point. And so I'm trying to figure out, how do we do this, right? So I want people to hold to that last page and turn the page. I feel like it should be hikigoma, but I'm not going to. You know what? It's a big hikigoma. I'll pull it to the bottom of the panel and pull it off the bottom of the page. Like that. All the way down. It makes it the Mieru Goma too. It's the hikigoma and the Mieru Goma. So it's the highlight of this page, takes up the entire bottom quarter. Actually, I think we can. Let's not do that. That seems weird. Yep. Man, my kiddo wrote a Springs comic once. That's funny. This is a comic my kiddo wrote once. That's so cute. I'll scan that one in at some point. be part of the history of that which is springs. We'll be doing springs again. Problem is, I have to be in a funny mood to do springs, and I'm not really in much of a funny mood right now, so I can't do springs at the moment, but we will get back to it. But I want to offer my springs book, and as part of what we have to offer on the table, when we, especially when we get to um, the big conventions like Galacticon, I want to offer that. So what I'm actually going to do with this one is we're only going to make 2 panels, and the panels we're going to make are panel 1 and panel 2, and panel 2 is simply this. And then that way, this is an internal panel, right? And then the outer panel is this, and then we have this quote right here. All right. Call this a save. We save it. Right. And then we close this guy. We don't save this guy because I've flattened him. I didn't want to flatten. I don't want it to be a permanent flatten. So I'll say do not save. And the only reason I didn't save that was because I didn't want to have to deal with the flattening problem that we would have if we did it the other way. So the other thing I want to do now is we've got a few minutes left. We've got 15 minutes left. And one of the things I've got here is this is what we call the double page layout. So instead of the pages being separate like they are right here, they're merged together. And the more I think about this, the more I like the idea of these merged pages as part of the pre-design things that we do. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to pull it up in a pre-design. And the pre-design, the pages, the page things, storytelling page things. Oh my God, this thing. Like I can't come up with the names. So we've already done momentary ghosts here, and that's fine, and it's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and close that, and then we're going to open. I got lost. There we are. Open. Not sure if I'm qualified for this yet. Issue 3, right? So issue 3 is already rigged, but there's nothing in it yet. So issue 3 is empty. You see how empty issue 3 is. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click that there, and I'm going to screen cap this design real quick. And all I'm going to do is just screen cap this. I don't need to do anything else. And I bring it over here and I can paste it. And in that way, I can now make these look the same as they look up here by giving them sort of this feel of what's going on. So I'm going to start like this and bring it down until it fits like that. Probably already see that I've done this a few times. So once it's the correct size, it isn't yet, but it will be. Match its size to this section here so that the pages are the right size. They're not. I discovered doing this last comic that this is the way I write my scripts. My scripts are just, they're going to always be this way. They're always going to be a conglomeration of a conflagration of writing and drawing. And there's no way I'm going to ever be able to, it's sort of like the Stan Lee version mixed with, I don't know, somebody else out there, Ditko's way of doing it with Lee's way of doing it, kind of mashed together in a conglomeration. And that's fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. But now that this is the right size, I'm going to actually put the correct back pages in here so that they're small versions of this. Right, so we're going to back up. Right, so I've got this back page. Right, this is the back page. I'll take all and copy, bring it over to you, and then paste. It's way too big, but that's okay. We knew it would be. Shrink it down. And what I'm doing here is just giving myself, let's see if this is full size like this. I'm going to give myself just a little bit of space for this here. We're going to see if I can match it up so that it lines up perfectly. Once I do, quirk. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but the closer that I am to perfect on this one, the less I have to kind of adjust for it as time goes on. So we're going to do that and that. And there's the back cover as seen from the program. Some guy's trying really hard out there to run. Good job, dude. Keep running. Keep it up. It's brutal. It's a brutal thing, and I understand. So, I don't usually do my covers and stuff like that on these, but sometimes I think of the cover while I'm doing this. So I'm going to make it plausible that I can still do it. You know what I mean? Make it like a thing we might be able to do. All right. Here. But there might be a point. There may be a point where I want to draw the artwork on here and make it work. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. We'll have to see. Now that becomes a mimic for sort of what's happening here. And I'm going to do this, and I'll grab this, and I'll do this. And go like this. And then this. And now we've made a new two-fold cover page for the back there, or for this here, which is good. And that way I can replace this with this one, and they'll be glued together and look exactly like they'll lay out, which is exactly what I'm kind of after at this point. All right. So the next thing we want to do is this. This isn't going to change. So the inside cover, outside cover, things won't change. So that's not going to be an issue. I don't need to replace anything on this one. This one can stay the same. But this guy we got to fix. So we open the administration folder. We bring in what is now the new master pages. Right. All right. Fred, I hope you're still out there. I hope I didn't accidentally block you while blocking Elijah. If I did, I horribly apologize. That was, of course, not even remotely the intention. But I'm not going to be ordered around either. That goes to both Reds out there and Ray. Ray and Red. If I've blocked you guys, I apologize. I apologize profusely. I'm so sorry. All right. I'm also not 100% sure. I've never actually had to block from Restream. Usually I would block Elijah from Twitch Direct, but he was in on Kane's side, and I don't have control of Kane's Twitch. So there's nothing I can do really to fix it. And so it's a little harder to do that. Oof. Instead, maybe I should just do this way. That look was because I'm like, didn't have to do this. We got 5 minutes remaining in the stream. Hopefully, I didn't actually boot people out of my stream, except for Elijah, who wasn't going to let up on me drawing him a full comic because he got a freebie Pokemon picture out of me yesterday. And so I don't really particularly care for. I mean, I don't mind doing stuff for people because it's kind of fun, but again, that's not my style, really, to do a freebie comic. We just had this discussion starting out this morning. Somebody else, who was like very big on the idea of underselling themselves. We're worth more than that. As artists, we're all worth. We deserve a living. We deserve to be able to make a living. It is a deserved thing. So all right. Actually, you know what I can do? We have 3 minutes left. I can just take this guy and copy him and make this copy paste. Make this no, that wasn't the copy I wanted to do. You're by yourself somewhere, aren't you? Right here. All right. We'll just duplicate this guy. Move him over. Right? We move him over here. The only thing I wanted to do is make this feel like it doesn't have it's not set up to do anything. All right. All I'm doing is clearing out all of the markers on this because it's very specifically one type of page, and that's an inside page. So it doesn't have any data or information on it. It's a very specific page. So I want it to look different than the normal pages. I don't want it to look the same. I don't want it to have the same kind of information. I just want it to have it safe. This is called a text safe, and that indicates that you need to be within that text safe to make everything work. That's all I really want out of this, and that's fine. So these will be my three types of pages, right? I've got one that's a full page spread like this, and then we've got one that is just a page for a splash or for whatever. We have then a single, which would be a single page, and then we have, like here, we have the cover, right? And this gives me the back and the front, and they're merged together so I can see what they look like. And maybe figure out the graphic design so that it looks good and it comes across well. But I can also sketch the graphic design on here and kind of get an idea of what's going on, which is useful. So, all right, that's it, guys. I am out of here and I am going to move on to the rest of my day. Appreciate you all being here. Red, I appreciate you being here. Ray, I appreciate you being here. And of course, we had Donald here for a while and Brent. And Elijah, although I do think that you didn't quite grasp what I was trying to say, and I'm sorry I had to block you, I do appreciate your time here. And that's all the time we have for today. I've been Guy, and I'm reminding you to keep your eyes on the stars. Goodbye.